Action.
We've made like basically zero to none progress.
They should not question my ideas, even though they're crazy.
Iker, such a bad actor. I don't even know why he's here.
Elmer needs to fucking do something.
I don't know if there's a lot that could come out of it unless there's a change in this. So, we'll see until then.
Hey, welcome back to Dead Cat Productions. This is now episode 3, and I just want to let you guys in on a little update first. So, I just finished episode 2 yesterday, and episode 1 took like a week to make, and episode 2 took like 4 days to make. And I'm still kind of learning everything right now. I'm still learning how to do the animations, like that title animation. I learned that like last week, and I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to produce this mini-series. So I'm going to treat it like it's an ever-growing, ever-evolving thing. Episode 1 might be drastically different in quality in comparison to like episode 10. So just keep that in mind. Alright, now let's get back to the story. When we initially started writing, there was a problem we ran into. The first problem was that the short film had to be 3 minutes long. It couldn't be any longer than that. And it's like, 3 minutes? You can't really do anything with 3 minutes. I mean, most short films are around 10 to 15 or 20 minutes. But with 3 minutes, it's barely anything. It's like movie trailers last longer than that. And it's like, what the hell you expect us to do with 3 minutes? I'm not saying it's impossible to write a compelling story with only 3 minutes in duration, but it's pretty damn hard. So that was the first problem. The second problem was that we couldn't even come up with the prompt. We spent about a month just figuring out the basic storyline because we couldn't even pick which one we wanted. Most of the time we would end up with something that was more akin to a drama or more akin to a horror. And none of the storylines that we thought up were even close to a mystery. So what I came to realize is that none of us knew how to write a mystery. Now, I also wanted to get Vaughn's input on this, so I gave him a call, and this is what he had to say. Hey, yo, what's up, bro?
What's up, bro?
How you doing?
I'm tired of this schoolwork.
Yeah, I feel you. So, hold on. This is my first time doing a Zoom interview, so shit. I wrote some questions down. All right, so as we all know, you're the... I can't take this seriously. All right. So, as we all know, you're the writer for our team, Dead Cat Productions.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some questions for you about when we were going through the writing process, starting from when you were initially in the team and then all the way to when we started filming. So,
all right.
My first question is, what do you think when you received the mystery prompt? Like, how did you feel about that?
Well, so initially, I felt I don't want to say I felt relieved or anything, but it wasn't daunting at first because I was like, oh, we could do a supernatural thriller. That's somewhat in what I usually write, And then you find out it's 3 minutes, and it's like, you can't do a mystery.
3 minutes. It's like, what can you really do with 3 minutes, anyways?
Right, a mystery is supposed to build the suspense and everything. Drop clues.
Yeah,
it's hard to do that in 3 minutes. I was like, how much can I actually fit into 3 minutes? Because it feels so short.
Okay, so how'd you feel about when you had to like restrict your creative style for TSA regulation? You're used to writing horror with a lot of like violence and gore in your early work. So like having to tone that down for TSA, what did you think about that?
The gore, not so much anymore. I'm trying to be tasteful. I still have those movies I write where it's just supposed to be for fun, and that's just be like a straight gore fest and whatnot.
Right.
But I'm used to writing. I guess if you watch any independent thrillers out recently, if you watched Hereditary or Midsommar.
I haven't seen one, but I heard it.
Oh yeah, it's great, man. It's great. But you watch any of those new movies from the up and coming horror thriller directors and everything.
Yeah.
That's what I try to do, where it's a sense of uneasiness, like when Alfred Hitchcock would write his stuff. It's just a sense of uneasiness. It's not something straight up like a jump scare or you should be scared of this. It's something where you walk out the theater and you're like, I don't think I want to go home.
Like, it haunts you for a bit, right?
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm used to writing.
Would you say your writing style is like somewhat inspired by Alfred Hitchcock?
I wouldn't say it's not. I'm kind of weird to where I don't really have any inspirations. I have people that I want to spite even if they're dead. I'm like, you think you're better than me? Well, let me do this, but that's just pretty much how I go through most things. I see everything as a competition.
Right.
I'm not really a person that is worried about losing to where I'm like, oh, I can't lose. I'm a person that's like, well, if I lose, I'll lose. But that's just something you can learn from it, So I felt like with this project, with me being outside of my comfort zone, if I lost, there's at least something I could gain from it. Even in victory, there was something I could have gained from it. I could have taken that or taken what I did and say, well, if this brought up a great result with judges, I might want to implement that into my writing style eventually,
It's a learning experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and in this industry, in the film industry, it's pretty competitive too. A lot of people don't think about it, but you're just trying to get your story out there, and you got a bunch of other people who are talking to producers and executives that are trying to get their story out there. So you got to be the first one through the door,
Yeah, that's why I like to try to be as experimental as guidelines allow, because people don't want to see the same thing over and over.
Hold up. Can you take the window or something? Because there's literally half of your face.
Oh yeah,
blacked out.
my bad.
No, you good.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
No, it's not good. Hold up.
That's worse.
I think this is the best I could get.
All right. No, that's better. That one's good.
All right.
So what were you saying?
I felt like people don't want to see the same thing over and over again. Movies nowadays, or at least in my terms, I consider a lot of movies to be repeats, or they repeat the same formula. It's a formula now. This makes money, so we're gonna do this. We might add a little bit of something new to it, but this is what we're gonna do. Stick to it, and
that's why
I don't like to
divert from regular mystery stories like murder mystery, because that's very cut and dry. Everybody's done that.
Right, yeah. If you're gonna do a murder mystery, try to make it unique. But even so, it's harder to make it unique. It's been done so many times,
Right. Yeah.
So we try to write something that people wouldn't think of, but it still be considered a mystery. But at the same time, it was kind of a toss-up, because we consider it a mystery. It's about if the judges would consider it a mystery, So we didn't have a lot of the mystery elements. We had the main elements, the detective, the situation, and an ending outcome. But
and the clues.
Right, yeah. But it's just it's not something you would typically associate with mystery,
Right. There was one storyline that we had that we worked on for almost like a week or two that we thought could have worked. It was more of a psychological thriller. It was like this really preppy, uptight, socially awkward kid, and he had like schizophrenia, and it was kind of like A Beautiful Mind, if you've ever seen that movie. He had this imaginary friend that he believed was real. He was mistreated as a kid by his parents. His parents were kind of like tiger parents, and this friend that he made in his head was kind of like an outlet for the way he felt. Let's talk about our first major idea, which was the prep and punk storyline. We scrapped. Because we were pretty hard on that one. We went for that like a couple weeks.
Right, we did. And I was, I remember, I'm not gonna lie, I was against it because I'm like, I don't see how this could work, you know. But hey, I was like, I was willing to try.
Yeah.
You know, I was still gonna put my 100% into it, but you know, I was just like, I don't see it, you know. You know what I mean?
Because he was lacking most of the mystery elements. There was only like
Right.
one suspect or two suspects.
Right. It was basically a drama.
It was more
You know. Right.
I feel like
But
that
no.
that keeps happening when either you or me are writing. Either if it's
Yeah.
more me, it ends up being more of a drama, and if it's more you, it ends up being more of a horror. And so we scratched it. You know, we went through a bunch of different prompts. One of them was this crazy ass storyline that Vaughn wrote, and this is one of the problems that I had with Vaughn when he was writing. This guy has a wild animation, fucking dumbass, cut that one. This guy has a wild imagination. A lot of violence, a lot of gruesome horror, a lot of blood and gore. I noticed that when I was looking through his writings before recruiting him, and I told him when he joined the team he could incorporate that into his writing, but in a much more toned down way, because it's TSA, it's a school competition, there's regulation, so he can't write out just whatever he wants to write out. Apparently he didn't get the message though. So around early October we were deciding on the prompt, and I had the idea where we would all individually write our own prompt and then compare to see which one's good. And you had one written down where it was about a cat getting eaten. Okay, this is the storyline. The disappearance of a family animal spurs a return to a popular rumor within the neighborhood. Zach swears that he saw the shadow of his neighbor, Lester Fitzgerald, in his backyard the night his cat disappeared. In the morning, Zach heads to Fitzgerald's house and sees Lester eating the cat. Zach gathers a group to search the house. Ending is left ambiguous as to whether or not what he saw was real. When I read this, my first question, Vaughn, what the f***? Second thing, Vaughn, let me reiterate something. This is a school competition. There is regulation and rules. You cannot show a guy eating a cat. You know you can bend some rules and maybe show a little bit of violence or something, but you cannot show a man voring a cat. There's no way that you can PG this. There's like, I don't know what you expect me to do with this material. So let's talk about what your idea, like how that would work. Like, how did you believe that would play into like the mystery element?
Well, first of all, I wrote down like three different plots, and each of those were in different ballparks. You know,
it caught my attention as much as the cat one. Like, I read through the good
right, you know,
ones, they were like, okay, these are good, and then I saw Lester Fitzgerald eats his cat. Like, what? Hold on, what is it?
Yeah, man, you know, it was more for a shock factor. You know, I'm like, this could be a quick mystery because the cat's missing. You know, you have the resolve, you know, and it's really short. It's basically people putting out the conspiracy theories and everything, right, while they're at school and then on the way to the house. And once they get to the house and they hear the sound of the dude eating the cat, you know, you never really show it, but the audience knows what's going on, you know, and it's more like a, not necessarily a gross out, but the audience was like.
And you think it would have worked for TSA if we rolled with it? Because TSA does have their restrictions and regulations, you know.
Right. You know, I don't know. You know, a lot of people just don't want to see animals get hurt in general. So I don't think that would have been the best choice to go with. You know,
like TSA might not be on our ass, but PETA would have.
Right. Yeah.
Damn, bro. Would have been after.
Dude, me and Peter gonna have some issues when I'm a director, bro.
Yeah,
you know,
shut down our whole operation. We're like, nah. This whole dead cat story thing ended up being like a big inside joke in our team. Like, during the whole writing process, we would be making fun of Vaughn, like, Vaughn, make sure no dead cats, okay? If he was working on a different film project, we were like, is there dead cats though? Did you put a dead cat? And then at some point, we were like, hey, what if we made our team name Dead Cat something, like Dead Cat Studios or Dead Cat Productions? And Elmer was just like, shit, man, let's do it. And so we ended up naming the team Dead Cat Productions. And when we told Vaughn, he was hella annoyed by it. He does that thing that Vaughn always does. That he's like, alright, I see how it is. I see it. Alright, I see how it is. Alright, I see how it is. He always does that shit. And so, yeah, we just ended up rolling with that. And that's how we ended up with the team name. I think it was around the end of October or the start of November where me, Julian, Vaughn, and Brian had a meeting. Julian wasn't really with us throughout the whole writing process because he was working on with his animation team because he was also competing in 3D animation again. So he had to work with them, so he wasn't there for all of the meetings. But when it came to the meeting, he was like, okay guys, what's the storyline? What's the prompt? I don't know. The problem isn't that we didn't have any storylines, it's that we had hundreds of them and none of them were good. And so he was just like, okay, this is bad. Like, we need to figure out something quick. And I agreed. We were taking way too long on this damn thing. We weren't making any progress. So we had to figure something out that day. And I told him, like, by the time we finish this meeting, we gotta have a set story. And we brainstormed, we talked ideas, we went with like the whole psychological thing. It ended up not really being a psychological thriller, but more of a mystery around psychological conflict. We still wanted to stick with the idea of psychological conflict because most of the people that were doing the mystery were probably gonna do like mystery, like murder mystery or something like that, and we didn't want to do that because that's pretty cookie cutter stuff. So we tried to think out of the box with mental illness and see what we can come up with that. We ended up settling on a storyline about this girl who shows up to school with a bruise on her eye, and her friends are trying to figure out who caused that. And so they go on like a mission to figure out who it was, and they have different suspects. They believe it could be the parents, then they believe it could be her boyfriend, and then they later find out that it was her causing it because she has intermittent explosive disorder, which is a behavioral disorder where you have random outbursts of anger and violence. And so that's the one we went with. Was it the best option? Probably not. But did we have any more time to contemplate it? No. So we just had to settle on that and then begin the writing process. Okay, so you know how we were unable to think of a prompt for like several weeks? And when Julian finally showed up, he was like, what's the idea? And we didn't have one.
Yeah.
I decided we needed to make figure out like our prompt that day. And we went with the whole bruised eye story. And that story, what were your opinions on that? Like when we switched it up and changed it to that?
Changed it to the story we stuck with?
Yeah, that's
right. Well, there was a lot that we could have worked with that. I figured there were a lot of interesting elements I could work with while I was writing the story. You know, there's different clues we could drop in the background to where not everything's in the forefront. And I like being able to do that, you know. So I figured it was a pretty decent place to begin, you know, and just let stuff, you know, happen, let stuff flow, you know.
But one thing that we did struggle on was the ending, because we couldn't figure out ending for a long time. So like, what was
that first ending? The first ending, you know, I had to put my little bit of a thriller into it, you know. So dude got arrested. It's not a detective thing. He really probably just got expelled. But you know, guy got expelled.
I didn't remember that. Did we write that down as a rough draft?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, wait, no, he didn't get arrested. He got expelled pretty much. But he was basically getting arrested. You know, dude, the detective ran outside, beat up the dude. You know, the teachers pulled him up and pulled the dude to the principal's office. You know, he went to go tell the victim. I'm just gonna call him a victim. You know, went to go tell the victim that, hey, we figured it out. And you know, you get upstairs, you got the no music except for the banging sound of someone banging their head against the wall. You know, and the interesting ending of just the dad pulling him out of the room, which looked like a horror movie, but but in the sense it was really him just gonna be talking to him, telling him what's going on. But you know, the audience doesn't know that, you know.
I think those ideas could have worked, and like that, the police arresting him thing, and the earlier idea where you had it in the apartment. I think those storylines could have worked, but from a producer standpoint, that would have been such a headache, dude. Like, I don't even know how we would get a police
Yeah,
officer, or let's just get one of the teachers dressed up as a police officer. Like, I don't
right. Yeah, I feel you.
And the apartment, oh man, like getting, like driving the whole cast and crew there. I don't know how we would have gotten that done. So,
Nah, I feel you. You know, I was wondering if anybody in the crew was gonna be living at the apartments over here by Camp Wisdom. You know, I was like, we can use those apartments, but I didn't think about that. You know.
The ending that we did go with, what were your thoughts on that? The one where she it stops at the scene where he sees it on the computer screen, and then it cuts to black there.
Well, I felt like that was a very short film-esque ending. You know what I mean? Where it's not completely conclusive at what's actually going on, but you have you're giving the audience an idea.
Yeah, and that was one of the
they
things
get
that
to
we were playing with, is like seeing if we
Right.
could go with a non-conclusive ending.
Right, yeah. And you know, it wasn't really a shock factor, but it's something where if the film was done well, which I think we did a pretty good job on the film.
Yeah,
That
I think we
the
did.
audience was like, right, yeah, you
With
know,
the 3 minutes.
shoot. Yeah, with the 3 minutes, man, it's crazy how we fit everything in 3 minutes. It was,
Yeah, like
man, you know,
up at everything. Like, all right, they got to talk faster. We got to move this along.
right, yeah. But I thought it was oh Lord, I forgot what I was saying.
Shoot, I forgot you. I gotta quit cutting you off, bro.
No, it's cool. I'm gonna forget it even if I'm talking. I'm kind of like that, you know.
Yeah, I get you. I'm like that too. Shoot.
Right, yeah, but it's to the point where the audience feels weighed down. You know, they feel the weight of what she's going through, as long as it's done, you know, right. Which I feel we did a good enough job to where the audience will feel that emotion. You know what I mean?
Right. And it
But
kind of
they
like sticks in their mind after they watch it.
Right, yeah, you know, and it also brings light to an issue that people don't like to talk about. People don't like to talk about mental illness. You know, it's
kind of
just
taboo. I mean, not as much
right.
these years. Like in recent time, a lot more people are open to that and open to discussing
Right.
it, but it's still a little bit taboo, especially like non-common disorders like intermittent explosive disorder.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
At some point, I forgot what point exactly, but at some point Elmer decided to join. And I didn't mind. It's not like he was bothering us or anything. And he actually gave out some ideas throughout the whole writing process. Over time, he just ended up being another extra member in the team. So at some point in the writing process, my friends Madeline and Tamara joined. Well, I wasn't really friends with Tamara. I just met her through Madeline. But over the course of the year, we ended up being good friends. Oh yeah, and also Iker joined. I forgot to mention that, but Iker was like just tagging along Tamara basically because I think they just didn't have anything else to do after school. So they just joined in with our meetings, and Iker gave ideas too, and we were kind of just chilling. And so it was the 9 of us now. It was me, Julian, Vaughn, Brian, Gio, Elmer, Tamara, Iker, and Madeline. For the next couple of months, we were kind of just letting Vaughn do his thing with the whole writing process. I was supervising him the whole time to make sure he kept it toned down. God knows what would happen if I didn't. And everyone kind of just backed away from the whole project. It wasn't anything that serious during those couple of months, plus it was around December. We were focused on finalizing our grades and doing our exams and all that, so we weren't very focused on the project. We were just letting Vaughn finish his writing. At the end of December, during the finals week, Vaughn finally finished the script. It was a 7-page script. I read through it. It was all good. We went over it as a group and then tweaked some of the lines. Once we had it all finalized, I told Brian to start the shot list. And once he had the shot list, we were ready to get the filming going. And so you worked on the script from October, December. What were your, how were you feeling like after you finished the whole thing in December?
Man, after I finished the whole thing, I was like, now I have to go back to work. You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, back to life again. Shoot.
Yeah, you know, because sometimes I was able to take off work for a little bit sooner because I had to finish the script. But then I had to go back to dealing with customers, and that wasn't fun, you know. But in all legitimacy, I felt I'm never really happy with what I write. That's just me in general. I think that's most artists, most creative people.
That's just how that's a creative mindset, bro. Like you,
Right, it's a
finish
creative.
it, you like it,
Right.
and right after you're done, it's like, this is garbage. I don't want to see it again.
Right, yeah, you always feel like there's something you could have improved on, something you could have did better.
Right.
But I felt like at the moment that's the best that could have been put out, based on the topic and based on the guidelines. But so I wasn't necessarily relieved. I'm struggling to find the word, but it's a sense you have a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
Just being able to actually finish it.
Yeah. You feel like you've moved forward and you progressed with your
right.
So I think that's everything. Thank you for your input. It's nice having you talk about what the writing process was like and get your input and get your side of things. So
right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
I mean, it was good to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's I'm not gonna lie, that's my favorite part of making anything. You're talking about the process, because a lot of people don't focus on the process and don't understand how much time goes into it, all the thought that goes into it. But it's always
a lot that goes on behind the scenes.
Right, and it's always the best part about making anything. What's going on while doing it.
Yeah.
Like the product is what you want, but the experience, it's wonderful.
Plus the ratio between our behind the scenes stuff and the short film is
right, yeah.
way different. Like we spent a whole year making a 3-minute video. Oh man,
right.
You have to talk about it. I don't know what else.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you later, bro. Thanks for talking.
Hey, no problem, man. I'll catch you, bro.
All right, later.
All right.
Now, I didn't assign my team to do any work during Christmas break because I just knew they weren't going to do it. I mean, last year I tried to set something up and have video chats to get work done. It just didn't work. During Christmas break, they're not in that working mindset. So even if I try to assign us to do work, it's probably going to be half-assed and we're not really going to get anything good out of that. So I just said to put it on pause. And when we came back from Christmas break, we'll get back into work. So when we came back from Christmas break, we had the script done. We had the shot list done and the storyboard was on its way. So now came the hardest part, the production.